It sure is a good Chainsaw Tuesday, and if you're Yoru, it's the best goddamn Tuesday you've ever had in your life. Boys, Chainsaw Man is officially back like they have never been back before. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, we've seen plenty of We Are So Backs, from Dawn to Dawn to South Park to Battlefield 6, and now Chainsaw Man? Say can you see? Kobeni, please come back now. See, I did the thing, you guys. Let's break down exactly what just happened and why that Yoru video I just did is completely null and void. Fun. Seeing as this is the last Chainsaw Tuesday for July, let's make this a big video. Drop a like, subscribe, and help Bento reach 11,000 subscribers and spread Chainsaw Man goodness everywhere. Okay, so what the freak nasty was that chapter? I mean, what? What was it? I can't even, what? Okay, maybe I need to calm down and do the same thing that I've been doing every week for the last 2 years now. Picking up from chapter 209, 210 begins with one of the craziest and most hype moments of the 21st century, easily. Yoru remembers that her #1 super top best devil is none other than the nuclear weapons devil. This once again puts a coffin in my theory of Yoru placing Denji above everyone else because of her unwillingness to use Denji as a weapon. Not the first time I've been wrong on this channel, sadly. It won't be the last, I'm sure, but, sad panda face and all that. But we did get an answer to a burning question, which is when Yoru herself asks how she could remember nuclear weapons since Pochita ate nuclear weapons. We discussed last week and then later on in a bonus video what potentially went down. My community pointed out in the latter, and rightfully so, that nuclear weapons must have been reinvented, which now in hindsight makes much more sense to me, and the context clues, they were a glaring. Think about it, they had no memory of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, which means that nothing was technically restored. But that either Oppenheimer or whoever simply just remade nuclear weapons from scratch. It's a loophole around the concept of erasure, but does require a tremendous amount of effort, as we are about to see. I mean, honestly, this completely changes everything for Chainsaw Man in the future, because if you think about it, as long as there are the ingredients to make something and someone is willing to figure out those steps to start all over again, then pretty much anything can be recreated that is erased. In other words, Pochita's powers aren't infallible, but can be if he makes sure to erase every concept tied to the concept in question. How that is possible to do? Who knows, but there is a logical plot hole in Pochita's powers, and Fujimoto is exploiting that to give us this insane revelation. This is just incredible and very clever writing for Fujimoto to pull off here, but Chainsaw Man is boring or something and fell off. What would I know? I'm just the guy who made this video 2 weeks ago thinking I was tough shit. God damn it, stupid. But what I think is the funniest part is that Yoru immediately understands that it is because America reinvented the bomb. Listen, I have no idea, but that revelation with the Americans watching in what looks to be something similar to New York City, as people are literally watching innocent people getting vaporized, cities getting vaporized with their fists in the air, is about the most accurate depiction of America these days. Well, sorta. Always been that way, honestly. But my hope is that we somehow get an Iran bombing joke. That would make my day even more than Pochita doing a woof. So as Falling Devil puts herself back together, like I do with my own life every 6 months or so, Yoru effectively teleports behind her with a piece, like she's trying to copy her sister Nayata like a faker, and simply declares that she has won. And we know this because she literally turns Falling Devil into clothing. And the reason for it is so petty, and at the same time, so Yoru. She is cold. Which is also true, she is very cold, as the kids say, but I loved every bit of this. I was already hyped enough with the nuclear weapons reveal by this point, but this is the moment where my jaw completely dropped, for multiple reasons. The sheer insanity of this moment, and how Falling Devil, a devil that is primal fear, was trumped by Yoru with the power of nuclear weapons striking fear into the world and just turns her into clothing because she's cold, It's brilliant, if not petty AF, and I am so here for it. That face as she declares she won is just, Chef's kiss. Literally, by the way, on that one. And as Falling is in disbelief, Yoru remembers something else that blew my puny brain. Yoru is not in love with Denji, womp womp. She is in love with America, bro. Does this mean that there is an American devil and she is tall, blonde, and big breath? Or heck, is it just a blonde dude with massive pee-pee and rippled? Bro, I can't. This chapter was so freaking awesome and I loved every moment of it. The fact Denji essentially just got dumped for an entire country is actually stupid. And I think I've reached enlightenment of some kind upon reading that statement. But as if she is Bayonetta, she gets naked and wraps herself in clothing, well, falling, as she remembers that it was America that made her terrifying. It was America that made her powerful, and of course it was America that made her attractive. I'm gonna have to say cap on that one, but she thinks America seemingly from the bottom of her heart. So not only did the Asa simps get to see Asa, I guess, technically, naked in this chapter, but we also get a musical number from Yoru. And yes, Mappa is so gonna adapt this, and we are absolutely going to hear whoever Asa Yoru's VA is singing in English the Star-Spangled Banner. My God. This moment, by the way, had the same kind of vibes as something in like part 1 with Power's death, or even Aki and the Gun Devil. Oh God, it was so good. Yoru singing while charred bodies are lined up in a row. Such a brutal visual, while brutal and depressing, also gave me insane goosebumps, dude. Holy crap. And at the end of this scene, we get maybe the only figure that I'm gonna be paying $200 for, Yoru wearing Falling in the most Makima-esque moment you'll ever see, besides actually looking at Makima, or you know what I mean. This is so Makima coded. Oh my God, it's unreal. This is what people who hated part 2 from the start always said. Oh, it's Makima, blah, blah, blah. We need someone who gives those vibes like Makima, and it's there. Stop complaining, it's there. It goes to show that by being patient and not jumping to an extreme really does pay off, huh? Who knew? Like, she even has her hair up in a similar fashion to what Makima had, just without the braid. Oh God, this was unreal to witness, and I feel so lucky to be here with everyone, just experiencing this all together on the day the chapter has come out, no less. I can tell people now that I was here for a Chainsaw Man thingy-dingy. And this is the moment where Asa realizes that Yoru just succeeded and plans to go through with this horrible plan she had warned Denji about. And of course, Yoru tells her to behave and be a good girl and essentially just sit by and let it happen, you know? This was my... this may be the best setup of an antagonist in the history of this series, and may have the potential to beat out Makima if done right, because with Asa Mitaka and Yoru inhabiting the same brain and body, this just means that every single decision should keep us on our toes in some form or fashion. Will Asa let all of this happen and just sit by? What will make her finally overcome Yoru? Will Asa in the end die because Denji is once again forced to eat the woman he loves and erase her from existence? The only girl who gets him and wants to save him, no less. Makima was interesting in the sense that she herself was just so fascinating as an individual, and the way she thought about the world and her surroundings and the people in her life. Yoru can tap into both of those things while also evolving it with a real human consciousness inside of her that is Asa Mitaka, fun name to say. Okay, so before we get into that final moment with the other insane reveal, make sure to get the likes, subscribes, and comment up on this video. Let's send this one to the moon, guys. Denji wakes up in school to be greeted in an empty classroom by none other than Death, or as she calls herself, Lil D. Bro. No way did Death actually just call herself Lil D like she just learned how to talk thug. This is wild, dude. What was this chapter? Also, dang, Fujimoto really wanted to draw her like this. This was so clean, you guys. Death got a major glow up in this chapter. In my opinion, I always thought Death had one of the best designs in part 2, and Fujimoto is really making me think it may be the best after this chapter. But hold up, we need to talk about theories coming out of this chapter, because there is a lot to break down. So we need to talk about the Yoru nuclear weapons falling American devil situation. It is very clear at this point that Tatsuki Fujimoto sees the United States government as warmongering fools, and I would be inclined to absolutely agree with that statement. It's not very hard to figure that one out, though, especially over the last 50 to 60 years. I mean, one of our presidents literally gave a warning about the military-industrial complex as an imminent threat to the government, and it seems like Fujimoto agreed with that sentiment. We have seen it quite a bit now, too, especially with one of the main antagonists in Part 1 being the Gun Devil, which was born in the United States due to gun violence and a fear of shootings. Then again, in Part 2 with the Statue of Liberty Devil, and now with Yoru's lover being the entire United States. Denji literally got cucked by the United States. You cannot make this up. Well, okay, maybe this one you could, but my theory is that Chainsaw Man Part 3 will take place in America as the main setting, most likely, because what better place to end Chainsaw Man than the birth of the series' main plot with the Gun Devil? Plus, with Yoru being in love with America, it is the perfect play on the whole greatest nation in the world, American exceptionalism tropes, which would just totally fit with Yoru's character. And what better way to end the series than to have Denji, Death, and Rize invade America as Yoru and America sit atop their throne and, I don't know, literally kill America and erase it from existence. That would be 100% wild and super fun while also providing critical commentary, which I am sure we may have to cover in the future. I am absolutely not looking forward to talking about people getting mad that Fujimoto doesn't like the American government or some shit. But we will see. I'm stoked either way. And now we gotta talk about the Lil D situation. Let's talk about it. It's the main reason my wife left me, because she said she was unsatisfied. I think Little D is about to essentially tell us in the next chapter that what Yoru's true plan was and what Death's plan is to counter that. I think D is going to, at this point, be kind of a co-protagonist and tell Denji they need all of the help they can get and thus need to form an alliance between devils and humans to save the world. After all, Chainsaw Man is a superhero story, so this checks out and fits right in with the series. It is just that I think this team will be composed of the best of the best. I think this is where we will get our Kobeni return, our Quan Chi comeback, Daddy Kishibe showing up, the Blood Devil baby, Control's next reincarnation, and of course the woman we all want more than anyone. Let's be real, y'all. Bomb Girl Rize. At the same time, I also think Yoru will have an army of her own led by the, I don't know, maybe like the military-industrial complex devil, and heck, maybe this is where Control shows up too. I could see her going either way, on either side. I think as well, we will probably get the America Devil most likely, and it will be like, I don't know, I guess at the end of the series, Denji's team versus Yoru's team, if you can think of it that way. There is just so much potential with all of this setup that was done, and I am so hyped for how Chainsaw Man will continue on in the future. I think we have an amazing setup to end Chainsaw Man, and with this chapter, I think we got plenty of years left of this amazing series to go through and experience together. Guys, for once, I'm actually chill with the bi-weekly Devil returning. August 12th is the official release for Chapter 211, and I better see every single one of you there. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check this video on the screen here. As well, join my Discord and support the channel by dropping a like. Comment a banana below to let me know you made it to the end. Make it a great day or not. The choice is yours.